Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. I have a very special guest with me today. I was getting instructions in my ear and I couldn't hear you for a second. I'm sorry. But hello, everybody. Welcome back to PlayStation Experience. This is the moment you've been waiting for. I'm joined by Sean Murray of Hello Games, with Hello Games in the audience, too. Who's excited for No Man's Sky? For those that are within, that can hear my voice. Beautiful. We're here to talk about No Man's Sky. Sean, you're here to do your favorite thing, be on camera live to tons of people. I know you love it. You personally confronted me and said, you know what I can't get enough of is being on camera.
And even better, now we've got the Twitch stream just in my face so I can see whatever it's saying. It's like a dream.
It's like a Twitch chat, like a dream come true. We're here to talk about No Man's Sky. We're running the trailer here, which you guys, I forgot if this is the one from Game Awards or from today.
This is the one from today.
Okay, beautiful. Well, thank you for being here, Sean.
No problem.
It's good to see you. we met in a chaotic E3 earlier this year.
Yeah, we always meet on camera, basically.
We only can be live.
On it.
It's really how our friendship was built. Tell me, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
For those, maybe 3 people in the audience that don't know what No Man's Sky is, please grace us with an explanation.
It's a really hard game to explain. I guess it's a science fiction game, that's what I always say.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah, it's kind of a sci-fi game, like our type of sci-fi, I guess, which is, I think if you look at the stuff that we've shown so far, we're very much going for that kind of sci-fi book cover aesthetic, that kind of 70s golden age of sci-fi for me. And it's a game where you kind of aren't limited, so you can be stood on a planet and see like a mountain in the horizon and go there and climb that mountain. Yeah. And then from that mountain you can see like a planet hanging on the horizon, and that's, to me, it's a real place. You can get in your ship and you can fly there, and on your way, and this is kind of what we were trying to show, is that on your way, if you look up at the night sky as you're out in space, then the stars in the sky, all of them are real places too, and they're casting their light to you.
How's that possible? It sounds like you're just lying to me right now in front of all these people here gathered in the Twitch chat, which is just, there's so many emoticons. I can't pay attention to
Twitch
this.
chat is really funny.
Yeah. Hi, Twitch chat. That's amazing, dude. Wait, the ambition of this project makes me think that you're just connected to a bunch of wires in the office. They're all just coming off of your skin, and you're just programming that way through some sort of telekinesis.
And then I've just been disconnected from them all, and
and that's why you love being on camera, because it's your one reprieve from that. But so in both trailers that you guys showed this weekend, or Friday and today, there was kind of some cool things like what we're seeing right here, which is kind of the galaxy view, the system view, which is just amazing. Do you want to talk a little bit about how this kind of is incorporated into the game? Yeah,
so at any point you can just press a button and then it will go to the galactic map.
There we go. Sorry, I didn't know the verbiage.
And then from there you can select other stars to jump to if they're close enough. For our video we kind of cheated a bit and said you could jump to anywhere.
You heard it here, folks.
And that's what we're doing
cheated.
When we're demoing it and stuff. That's what we're doing at the moment, just to show people how free it is, because otherwise they might think, oh, well, you just made that planet, or you just made that one, or whatever. So the fact is you can go to any of those hundreds of millions of stars, select one, and weirdly, when I do that, and when I fly around randomly like that, I don't know where I'm going to go.
Right.
So it's the most terrifying thing to demo in the world. I genuinely don't know when I press the button what I'm going to see, which is horrific, but also exciting.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. Go on, keep going.
No, so the thing that you use that galactic map for is to kind of find your way around, and you're trying to, for most people, they'll be trying to journey to the center of the galaxy. What we wanted to show, I guess, especially what we showed today, was just how big that is, and we still didn't even really have enough time to do that, but it kind of, to me, it's a little bit mind-boggling even to me to look at it and just see how many stars just fly past you, you
Yeah.
know, as you're pulling out, and you kind of picture, when you think of that pull out, you picture it being at one scale, and then you realize that it's just so much bigger than that. Now. Just the possibilities within that are really exciting for me.
So I'm curious, honest question. Have you ever warped to a new system discovered by Sean from Hello Games? You arrive on the planet, you touch down, and there's just like a small tea party happening on the surface of the planet, and they have like they like all look up and they turn, and you're just like standing there in your spacesuit. You say hello.
That is a super specific question.
But and so the answer is yes.
Is it yes?
I would like that.
Not
Maybe
so far.
maybe DLC.
Right.
Tea party
Okay.
DLC.
Yeah.
The other thing that you guys were kind of teasing a little bit of are the various ways that you can travel
Right.
between these systems. Because it's not necessarily just the warping in your ship.
Right.
You kind of hinted at some other things. There was. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can talk about it, but there looked like there was some sort of technology in place that allowed you to jump from the human, like the point of view perspective.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it, I guess, and we want people to put their own interpretations on things. But I guess in my head, it's like, you know, it's alien technology, right? And we wanted to show off, I think, the more alien side of things. Like, it's like we're easing people into No Man's Sky. So when we showed it first, we always showed kind of like fish and things that look like sharks and things that look like deer and dinosaurs, because we wanted to choose planets specifically that had those things because we wanted people to feel comfortable and understand what the game was. Because actually you can go to some planets and you can be underwater, but it doesn't look like underwater anymore because the creatures don't look like fish, and water can be made of things other than like water, you know. So that could be confusing for people, and so we tried to stick to things that were more grounded. Slowly we're kind of peeling that back, and we're letting people see a little bit more of the kind of more alien creatures, alien buildings, technologies, things like that are created. You know, you see that in those kind of weird flying creatures. You know, and somebody was asking me what those were, and like the reality is I don't know. They're just a creature.
They're beautiful flying creatures.
Yeah.
I don't think we should label them. I think they should be.
Well, that is genuinely, somebody will find them, and then they will get to label them, and that's kind of cool.
Cool. All right, so I'm still trying to wrap my mind around. One of the things actually that I've heard you mention before, and as you just mentioned earlier, was that you guys, your team kind of suspects that the player populace will work its way towards the center of No Man's Sky. Is there can you talk about how that's directed? I mean, with a game that's so kind of being created as people explore and play, how do you direct them sort of towards the center? So,
if people don't want to do that, then they don't have to at all. It's totally about people being able to express themselves, play the game whatever way they want. And I like that. I like that it's kind of an experiment, you know. But there are reasons why it would naturally happen. So, like, you start off with a ship. It's a very basic ship.
What's the ship's name?
Well, we might start people off with different ships. We don't know.
But I can name it?
If you discover it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So it can be the Free Willy. Perfect. All right, keep going.
That's specific again,
yes.
But yeah. Okay. So, and you can go and find a tea party in it.
Perfect. I'm sold.
You search the galaxy for tea parties. I've lost my train of thought after that.
I'm so sorry.
You start off with a really basic ship on the outside edge of the galaxy. So for most people, they would like a better ship. Better ship, you will be able to warp further. You will have better weapons. You will have perhaps a bigger cargo space if you're a trader or something like that. So you'll want a better ship. There aren't that many good ships on the outside edge of the galaxy.
Okay.
Right, so that's one reason you might travel. As you traveled, you might find that things were becoming more and more dangerous, because that's just naturally something that happens towards the center of the galaxy. So you'll want better weapons, you'll want a more upgraded suit, which is what you have down on the planet. You have a weapon with you on the planet, so you'll want to upgrade those things. And those upgrades are generally more towards the center. You can gather resources. Those resources will be worth more at the center. Ships will be more expensive at the center, but they'll be better and more capable. So you're going to need those resources. You're going to need to do things that are more worthwhile, and that naturally drags you on that journey. But you don't have to go on that. That's just kind of, it's just one way to play the game.
One of many ways, it sounds like. I mean, you guys have really put a lot, you put worlds into this game. And I'm assuming your team fully expects people will explore those worlds, perhaps to, you know, on one planet to its entirety.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think we've sort of failed if somebody doesn't boot up the game and just explore the planet that they boot up on.
Like,
you know,
they just leave their ship and they're like, I'm just going to walk the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could go
I want
wrong?
to see that Twitch stream where somebody just says, I'm going to walk around this planet, you know, and I think that will be cool. I don't understand that person, but I'm like glad that they exist,
sure.
You know, and I will probably watch that stream kind
for
of
at
sort of
least
fascinated.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'll get back to your cyber chamber and coding the game. Yeah, infinitely. What else do you kind of either hope for or expect from the community once this game is in players' hands?
Like, honestly, sometimes that's the terrifying thing. Like, we don't know how people will play it. I kind of expect, like, spokes to form. That's kind of what I think will happen, that people will start exploring on a route towards the center of the galaxy, and then other people will be drawn towards that route.
Okay.
Because naturally things have been discovered there, so they know more of what they can see and what they can find. So I think that will happen, and some people will go to those, will gravitate to those kind of spokes towards the center, and follow that path. And then other people will kind of have the opposite mentality and think, I just don't want to be where anyone else has been, and I'm kind of an explorer, frontiersman or whatever, and I will go to where there's, you know, where no one's ever been before. That's kind of how I hope it'll happen, but I have no way of knowing. People might decide not to explore at all. Everyone might head to the same spot. I don't know, and that's kind of, I'm cool with that. Like, it's scary, but like, that's interesting too.
Okay. Now let's say No Man's Sky releases at an undisclosed time, and you as a player, you embark on your own journey, because I'm sure you will also be playing as well as continuing your work. What do you see yourself doing? I kind of want to know what Sean Murray's game plan is once you boot up.
So when we have people playing it now, the tendency for people to think is that they want to be a trader, actually, and I always find that weird. A lot of people want to be traders. There's a lot of focus in people thinking about the game as an explorer or whatever. I tend to be more on the, like, combat side of things.
Okay.
And I enjoy that side of the game, which is actually in some ways quite arcadey. And that's me. I'm just that person. But the reality is, when I see myself playing through, I think a good analogy is like Han Solo kind of thing, right?
Perfect.
So a little bit of a trader, a little bit of an explorer.
Right.
You know, fights when he has to.
A lot of charming.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Any shot first.
That is the part that comes naturally.
That's
obviously.
what I've heard.
Yeah.
and your team on No Man's Sky is very small.
Yeah.
You're a small independent studio. It's in where I forgot, not in
Guildford.
London, right?
It's Guildford, yeah,
okay.
where everyone is, Media Molecule and Supermassive, and
we know
yeah.
those guys. What may I ask what it's like for the team to kind of wrap itself around such an ambitious and core design that, as you kind of say, is...
I don't know, they're right there. They look fine. They're smiling.
They're alive, which is really the best sign.
So we all flew out together. There used to be just 4 of us working on it in the early days. Now there's more.
Right.
We still, like, everyone flew out and they fitted across, like,
the
an
whole
airport row, basically. We used to be just in the center bit, kind of thing. But the full sides too. So it's a pretty small team, and like these last few weeks in the build-up to this have been pretty crazy, but we had a lot more than we wanted to show, and we wanted to show people. And I think there's naturally like this pressure you know. But also, as one of the guys was saying to me, it's amazing to think if you're working on something, it's going to be on a massive screen.
This screen, in fact.
Yeah.
Right now.
Or the screen next door.
We can't take it back.
Like,
I mean, it's happening. Twitch chat's having a field day.
And that's like brilliant. It's horrifying and terrifying, but it's also brilliant. You wouldn't have it any other way, right? So it's that kind of trade-off. You can imagine what that's like yourself if you were writing a book or doing anything and knowing that it was going to be seen by a lot of people. You wouldn't have it any other way, but you would also feel a little bit sick in your stomach all the time, kind of thing.
So you're saying you live with constant nausea, and I hope that you get the proper medical attention for that, because I want you to be coding in your Cyberthrone successfully. And you guys kind of teased this, I think earlier today, but you have a special event going on at PlayStation Experience this weekend. Right. So for those of you that are listening, I'm assuming all of you can hear me because you're all kind of looking in this direction. You have something special going on. I know you don't want to tell much about it,
right?
But you want to give us like a little tease?
Yeah, so some cool things. We're going to show a bunch more of the game, and we're going to have 65 Days of Static there tonight, which is really cool. They were playing last night at the TGAs, and I thought they were
amazing.
I thought they were awesome. Cool. Yeah, and it'll be good for more people to experience that. I hope people come along here, but where I think it will be really
9
cool.
p.m., right?
9 p.m.
I'm going to point over there so everyone knows that's watching. But you at home, this doesn't help you at all. But I'm just pointing for the people that are watching us right now. It's in that direction.
But it'll be streamed as well, and I think that'll be cool to see, like new visuals, new side of the game, but also like
badass music.
Yeah, the band are like it sounds weird, but like they're my favorite band, you know. And so it's this whole weekend is super weird for me.
It's weird in like a good way.
Yeah, like I'll
okay,
be
good.
I
you
was
had me worried.
backstage with them yesterday, and well tonight, and like I don't really know how to feel about that.
I love the line you said during the Game Awards where you were like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but hey, here's my favorite band. I don't think a lot of people get that opportunity.
No, but it's worse than that. Well, better. But like, they're working on an album that I can't really. It's super weird, but like brilliant, obviously.
Yeah,
but
in a good way. Do you have? I think we have a couple more minutes left. We have about 5 minutes. Okay, good. So in that time, what else kind of is boiling around in your mind as you guys are kind of? I feel like you've made a lot of progress in your secret lair in Guildford, and I know that you can't tell us a lot, but like how do you feel now compared to how you felt when you first announced it? I think was it at the VGAs?
Yeah,
right.
VGX last year.
VGX, sorry.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's been a weird 12 months, definitely. This, for us, I mean, some people might say, like, oh, just finish the game and stop trying to make videos of it and throw a concert and stuff like that.
Stop coming to Vegas and just sit here on a stage with some weird guy. No, you're here to show the game off to all these people. Yeah,
but we're showing off kind of some of the cool things about the game, and actually this is like a real big kind of development milestone for us and a really important one. I don't get into that too much, but like it's a big deal for us, not just where the game is at, right? And almost this weekend for me and certain stuff, there's like a celebration of that, like there's cool things that are happening, like stuff that we haven't talked about, like the band making the album, for instance. We're going to use that album. Like a few people have asked, how does that work in this game? This game is so huge, and you can play for so long that it makes sense to just have a few tracks to play over and over. So we're kind of going to dismantle that whole album and use it like generatively and play it back in really kind of new ways, basically. So not only will you be like landing on your own planet and having
We're fixing your mic, by the way. Please keep going. It's supernatural, and no one saw anything. It was flawless transition. Please continue.
No, the idea with the album that we're making is that it will be kind of deconstructed. We will just rip it all apart and then we'll play it back generatively, and we have some of that working already. And it will mean that, like, when you land on a planet, not only will that planet, if it's never been discovered before, it will become, you know, an aesthetic that's never been seen, and we've shown off just how kind of weird and alien things can be. That will be your own discovery, but also not just what you're seeing, but what you're hearing. The soundscape will be, you may well be hearing a track that, like, no one else has ever heard. And that's super exciting for me, for somebody to capture that on YouTube. It's just so interesting and like different, and for the music to hopefully suit what's going on in the game. We're using parts of how the terrain is built and parts of how the creatures are built and things like that to fuel what it will sound like, which sounds really weird.
This is blowing my mind a little bit. I didn't know any of this. This is crazy. So that's an intensely intimate exploration then. If you're landing on this planet, you're not only getting a visual that no one else may have ever seen, but also audio.
And it's not just that, like the creatures, you know, I was talking about development-wise, like in the background, all the creatures, we haven't had this before, but all the creatures that you hear in the stuff that we've done, like over the last few days,
yeah, the beautiful
those are
dinosaurs.
They're procedurally generated, so creatures have their own voice now, and like they will look different, but they will also sound different, which is really cool. It's really interesting the way we're doing it.
I mean, it sounds like No Man's Sky is just going to come shipped on 50 Blu-rays because there's I don't know how you fit all that content.
Well, that's the cool thing about it, is that it'll actually be quite small. You know, originally we thought it would be really small.
50 Blu-rays.
Well, we thought it would fit on, like, you know, practically a floppy disk or something like that, because
that's bonkers.
Everything was going to be procedurally generated. But as we go through, there's certain things that you have to have, certain, you know, audio things that you have to have. So it does grow, but it will be, in terms of downloads, it'll be a reasonably small game. Wow. Because nothing's actually, like, of the terrains that you see when you see us flying through a planet, that is all being generated on the fly, right there and then. And then as soon as you've gone past that bit, it's just thrown away. You know, it doesn't exist on the disk. It doesn't exist on your PS4. It doesn't exist in the cloud or anything like that. It's just happening there and then carelessly ejected, basically.
just vacuumed into space. Well, we are now out of time, but I want to thank you personally and also on behalf of all the folks that came here to listen to you guys. I mean, you people are excited for No Man's Sky, right? It sounds, yes, there's some cheers here. I want to thank you. I want to thank the Hello Games crew, and best of luck to you guys as you continue.
PlayStation